My name is Nuria Sagarra. I'm in the Department of Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese. I'm an assistant professor of Spanish linguistics and second language acquisition. Half of my position is involved in directing the basic Spanish program. We have 12 credit courses, and they are divided into 3 semesters: Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and Spanish 3. Spanish 1 is now completely online. Spanish 2 and 3, they meet 2 days per week, and they learn the rest, and they practice the rest at home, doing different types of activities using Angel. Audio files for pronunciation. So, for example, they have to listen to something like casa or casa, and then they have to identify which one is the native speaker of Spanish. And they have a simple multiple choice, or for example, for grammar, we have videos of a teacher explaining grammar to them. And then they have some practice and some questions about this explanation. We have PowerPoints. We have videos to expose them to different dialects and cultural aspects of the Spanish language. We use a variety of technology tools. When I was hired back in 2002, the reaction was negative. Some colleagues, they just don't want to change. They believe in lectures. It is part of our job also to educate them to understand not only the way we teach as faculty, and in the last 5 years, I've seen a significant difference in my colleagues. This is a 3-credit course, and the course is divided into theory about second language acquisition, and then practice, and like topics on how to teach grammar. But then there is another component that is usually absent of this type of courses, but then it's also absent in all the curriculum of graduate students, and is to get used to technologies. What I saw is that the graduate students were feeling very insecure because the undergraduate students, their students, knew more about technology than themselves. We are all using technology every single day, so it makes no sense. It's not realistic not to use technology when we're teaching, even in the classroom. So it's not only to use technology outside of the classroom, but also in the classroom. Well, a bit of everything. There is the technology part, so they have to have the technology skills. They have to learn how to do all the requirements that are in the webpage. But I also like the fact that there is this the critical thinking part, in which they have to reflect about what it means for them to teach with technology. I tell them to go beyond their short-term teaching goals and think about their future life and how they want to implement technology, like in a graduate seminar on medieval literature, for example. The first part of the semester, they work on different components. And then in the second part is when they start the web page, kind of like the design component. And then they already have the content. Once they have the web page and they know how to create the links, they just have to link, but they have all their PowerPoints, their audio file ready. We have been doing this since 2002, and it has been very successful. So we have already had the opportunity to see people going through their master's, PhD, and going to the job market. And I've had a lot of comments from the grad students saying that this was very helpful. They already have an electronic portfolio. We like the rubric. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the fact that there is the reflections on teaching with technology and the teaching philosophy, in that they are separate. So that's something nice, because that also forces them to do a teaching philosophy. Otherwise, what happens is that they get engaged in their dissertation and everything, and then they go to a job market, and in some places they ask for a teaching philosophy, and then they write it, in one night, and without really putting any effort and they're tired at that point. So I always tell them to just write it with passion. This is their life. They chose to do, this is what they chose to do for a living. To take it seriously and to think of it not as a course requirement, not as a certificate, like, okay, I just need one more line in my resume, but to really think this is your electronic portfolio, this is going to be your web page, this is where you are also going to include other parts of in addition to the certificate. So take it seriously and do it with passion. I think it's important, even if it's not a course requirement, to sit down with them and talk to them about the certificate, but how important this is beyond getting a certificate and a line in your CV. And because you don't get one line in your CV, you get several lines. One is the certificate, but then you are familiar with HTML. You now know about Dreamweaver. You have learned to do a lot of things. It's a no-brainer, really.